Hello my friends, John LaRuffa here with another Unbiased unboxing. In this episode we're going to take a look at Endangered, a game that's been out for a little while, but I decided to finally pull the trigger and pick it up. Let's take a look at what's inside. And as usual folks, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can continue to build my fan base. So on the back of the box, it doesn't really, it shows the components and everything else, but I gotta tell you, one of the reasons that I didn't pick up this game for so long is that it didn't necessarily convey on the back what was going on. Once I actually watched some videos on it and saw that all these different action cards came out that changed the game, it really piqued my interest. So this is one of those times where I think they could have done a better job on the back, somehow making that apparent that everybody has these hands of cards, and the hands of cards as they come out will change the group actions that are available, which I think is cool. Now, yes, I could have found that in my research, I get it, but sometimes when you're walking around in the store, you don't have that research available to you, or you do, but you don't feel like standing there with your phone, whatever. Anyway, point is, I wish I could have done that. That would have been a little better, in my opinion. All right, opening it up, we've got something special there. We've got a white box. I see we have the dice that are, well, the Kickstarter had them with the custom sides. These are standard. This is not the Kickstarter. This is the retail side. So it's just 1 through 6 on here. I know the Kickstarter had some special dice. But these are fine. They are plastic and they roll just fine. We've got the other 2 dice here with the breeding die and the destruction die, or the environmental destruction. Okay. I do appreciate that they thought to put this in here so that things didn't get bounced around. That is a great idea. I think that's fantastic. I think more game companies need to pay attention to something like that. And it's probably cheaper than an insert that usually most people throw out, because inserts, really, let's be serious, most inserts are for the game to not get destroyed when it travels to your home through all the retail channels. Because when you try to put everything back in the box, it doesn't necessarily fit. With the insert at least. Okay, so here we've got our tiger meeples. They are wooden. And here we have our, I believe they're sea otter meeples, and they are wooden, yes. So they look like little sea otters, okay? And we have voting cubes here, also wooden. This is the calendar for the round marker. We've got our sets of cards. So let's start with these little guys here. And these little guys are the research cards, the specialty cards. They are of usual thickness, not too thin, not too thick. And they do have a texture on them, and they're just fine. No real artwork here, just the cards themselves. Okay, then we have this deck. And this deck is not in a shrink wrap. It's one of those other polystyrene-like wraps, which is fine. I'd rather do that. Hopefully that means they don't get warped. So here we have the voting cards of the different nations here, and it tells you how many votes you need to get or influence you need to get to be able to get the vote yes. So a bunch of different ones. Okay. And then we have the impact cards. So most of these impact cards are bad news situations. Some of them, I guess, can be good. I do like the artwork on these. These look thematic and they look nice. And then there's different impacts, I think, depending on the scenario. So, these all look like they have to do with the sea. So I would assume, oops, I'm sorry about that. I would assume that would be for the sea otter scenario. And then you've got this one here. These look like environmental lawyers. So these now we're into the game cards for our, the different roles here. And so you can see that you have, your action cards, which are varied depending on what you have or what comes up. They offer you different things. And so, yeah, that's what you got here. All right. I like the artwork on those. Those look good. And those felt pretty good as far as the thickness is concerned. I'm still going to sleeve them like usual, but I would say they did not feel thin. They felt pretty sturdy. I'd say the usual thickness, not overly thick. But if people aren't into sleeving, you'd probably be okay here. So as you can see, a bunch of different types of cards here that do different things, and these will all change your actions as you play them throughout the game, which is cool. And again, I should have done a little more research earlier, but regardless, that's the main selling point to me of this game, having not played it before. I just think it's cool that the different actions will change throughout the game depending on which personas you have and which ones come in, which cards come into play and how that works. So I do like, again, all of this nice artwork here. It's thematic, looks good. Pick that up before it gets away from me. All right, then we have some phase cards here to let you know how to play. And then now we've got the impact deck for the Tigers. So there we go. All right. Now, let's take a look at the board itself. The board itself should be double-sided. You have the Tiger side, which is obviously the forest. And you do have some pre-printed actions on the board itself. And then you've got the Sea Otter side, pre-printed actions, and the water, which the board looks nice, easy to read. Then we have the scenario cards here. For the Sea Otter, it tells me something different about the setup. It's a little different. And then the one with the Tiger scenario here. Okay. A couple of bags here. Guess they figured I only needed 2. And the rules and some, it's like it was in reverse order. So we've got the punch outs. These are medium thickness here. And here are a couple of the characters that you have. So you get the male and the female versions, but they are identical in gameplay. Here we go. And the money. All right. And then finally the endangered, destructed, or the destroyed landscape tiles. Overall, looks really good. Let's take a quick look at the rules themselves. These were not hard to read. Again, I read them online. Really kind of flowed simply, made it pretty easy to understand what to do, how to set the game up, how to play it. They gave some good examples. So I don't think you're going to have any real trouble with the rule book here. They didn't get into an exhausting detail of each of the actions, so I'm assuming those are going to be pretty self-explanatory. But overall, I think it works out well. So there you have it. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Whatever you play in the future, I hope you have a fantastic time doing it, and take it easy.